So in this video, I wanted to walk you through the Form 8332, releasing a claim to exemption for child by the custodial parent. This is very important to file if you've got parents that are no longer living together. Most frequently happens with divorced couples, and then pursuant to a divorce decree. It will stipulate one parent is entitled to claim the child on their taxes. Sometimes they alternate years. It just depends on what was agreed to as part of the divorce proceeding. But so I want to go through most common kind of example I see, and again why it's so important to make sure this is done. Otherwise, the IRS can refuse certain child tax credits that you might claim on your return, and it just creates a mess, so you don't want to do it. So in this example, we're going to, the fact pattern is John Q. taxpayer. He has a child with Jane Q. taxpayer, let's say, and the child's 3 years old, and then John and Jane get a divorce, right? And so Jane is the custodial parent, right? So the child lives with Jane throughout the year. John has visitation rights, but John pays certain amounts of child support and alimony. And under the divorce agreement, Jane has allowed John to claim the child on his taxes. And the reason this is important is because in order to qualify for a lot of credits for children, one of the requirements is that the child must live with you being the taxpayer, for more than half the year. So in this case, John is not the custodial parent, right? The child does not live with him for more than half the year. So that would make him ineligible to claim the child tax credits. But he can if he gets Jane to release the exemption, right? So John, when he's going to prepare his return, he would need to provide this form to Jane and get her sign off. And then this form is attached to John's income tax return and filed each year, right? So Form 8332, the non-custodial parent, again here in this fact pattern, is John. That's his social security number. And then the release down here is in part 1 or 2, depending on how many years that they might want to execute this agreement. So in this example, Jane's just signing off for 1 year, right? So I agreed to claim an exemption for the child for tax year 2019 only. Jane would sign off and enter her social security number, right? The custodial parent's SSN. They can execute this to cover many years, right? So if they wanted, if pursuant to the divorce agreement, it said, okay, you're going to claim for years 1, 2, and 3, and then the other parent will get 4, 5, and 6. Whatever the terms of their arrangement are, this should be consistent with that. Now the IRS isn't going to check the divorce agreement, but at a minimum, you should have this done. But of course, in a perfect world, this would be consistent with what was agreed to by both parties. Frankly, I see divorces are always pretty contentious, so a lot of parents will not do this, and they'll try to beat the other parent kind of to the punch with filing their taxes first and claiming the kids, and then you've got to go through the mess of getting people to amend returns or perhaps cut a check between the parties for the tax credits. It can get messy, but again, if we're in a perfect world, if we're following all the IRS rules by the book and you're following all the terms of the divorce agreement as they should be, if the taxpayer is not the custodial parent, right, so they're otherwise ineligible to claim the credits, but the other party that is the custodial parent is going to release the credit, they've got to complete this form, right? So you got to complete this form, make sure it's attached to the tax return, right? So you can attach this electronically, to the return. The IRS is starting to accept that now. or you can paper file them as well. But again, it's got to be in there, or else the taxpayer that's claiming the credit is essentially, kind of committing fraud, right? Because as part of the child tax credit worksheets, you are stipulating that, yes, I am the custodial parent and the kid lived with me for more than half the year. So, if you're saying yes to that and that's not true, then that's a material misstatement on your return, so you don't want to do that. So go through the right channels. Check the box no on that worksheet that says no, the child did not live with me for more than half the year, but I am the parent and the custodial parent is releasing the exemption to me, and here is the supporting document to prove that. So as long as you do that, you should be able to claim the credit, and you won't be committing any kind of tax fraud or lying on your return. So that's always good, right? We don't want to get in trouble for stuff like this. So that covers it. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions, please comment in the video below, and of course always appreciate a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel for more tutorials like this, and I hope to see you again soon. Thank you.